Okay, we'll start now. Good evening and warm welcome to Brother Joe Huang and brothers and sisters around the globe to Wondrous Lotus Sutra discussion. Before we start, let us invite Brother Joe to lead us in paying homage to the Triple Gems. Let us pay our respects for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Cheng Yen by making 3 sincere bows. Please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Okay. Today we have Sister Riani, who will have 2 sharers, Sister Inghun and Brother Benny, for the Wondrous Lotus Sutra discussion with Brother Joe. Okay, so now I'll hand over to Sister Riani. Sister Riani, over to you.
And Sister Lily, thank you for the opportunity for me to become a facilitator. Good evening, Brother Joe Huang and brother and sister. Happy New Year to all of you. Hope this New Year will bring us the happiness and good health for all of us. Tonight, we have 2 special sharers. Why I say special, later you will find out. I will introduce my first sharer is Sister Lim Inghun. To me, she is a rare, it's a gem. Why I say like that? Because less in a year, she's knocked on the Tzu Chi door by herself, by email, office, to show interest what she can do for Tzu Chi. I remember I text her on the 1st of May, can you join the new volunteers training? She said yes. From that day on, now she cannot stop. Now she progressed quickly in GNC, and we hope that she can quickly complete this occasion and become master first generation disciple. Sister Inghun. Sister Inghun is very proactively asking me, is there anything that I can help, that I can contribute, or any activity that I can do? So for me, this is very rare. From the first joining Tzu Chi until now, only she alone can ask this kind of question as a new status as a new volunteer. So besides that, Sister Inghun is very diligent, listening to Sim Pa Xiang. Not only that, she also shared her insight in our post-Sim Pa Xiang sharing. All of insight is very good, but now we will hear the most powerful sharing from Sister Inghun. Okay, Sister Inghun, the platform is yours. She will share on the episode 913, is it, Sister?
924.
Can you share your screen? Because
I will share the screen. There goes.
Oh, 924. And the stanza is, with the common teachings, Bodhisattva receive benefits and grow. Their wisdom is firm and solid. They understand that the 3 realms are illusory. With the unique teachings, Bodhisattva receive benefits and grow. They abide in still contemplation, so their mind reach complete understanding of true Dharma. All right, Sister Inghun, the platform is yours.
Thank you so much, Sister Rani, for such a kind intro. In fact, a very good evening to everyone, Brother Joe, and also all brothers and sisters for joining this platform. I think I want to take this opportunity to thank Sister Rani, Sister Siu Chin, and also Sister Yvonne for inviting me and give me this opportunity to share on this Lotus Sutra, which I actually been following up since I joined Tzu Chi. And in fact, I was very delightful that I have this opportunity and very grateful as well. I specifically liked this particular episode, which is episode 924, because this episodes actually give me a greater insights about learning the Dharma, and also the 2 important terms that always been used in all the wisdom at dawn sharing by Master, which is Samadhi and also wisdom. So let me move to the first part of it, which is about learning the Dharma. So from this episode, I understand very clearly from Master explanation Learning the Dharma is not about acquiring the theoretical knowledge. In many normal educations, we're talking about learning the principles and at the same time being a scholar and getting certifications. But in this aspect, I think learning the Dharma is about the cultivation of wisdom, which I actually aspire a lot on. Having a mind of intelligence doesn't mean we can be wise. So I find that learning the Dharma, it is actually, to me, over the couple of months that I have been following the Wisdom at Dawn, it has actually taught me a lot. In fact, it has given me another pair of eyes, if I want to put it in a different way. It broadened my views and I can see things differently and different perspective right now with the Dharma. With Dharma, basically, I can see beyond what is right in front of my eyes. And it is just like a light, lighting up a lamp. A lot of things I was not able to see previously, but with Dharma, I was able to see. And these are all just presented to me very obviously as it is presenting things to me that is unseen in the dark, just like the lamp that give me the light and also another pair of eyes. I'm truly very grateful and I sincerely felt like I'm really very blessed to be able to be in this platform and also join Tzu Chi and to be able to listen to Master every morning on the teaching of Buddha. So learning the Dharma, I used to think that Buddhism is about doing good, avoid evil, but I actually didn't know that the importance of purification of the mind stands a very important role. But nevertheless, I think I need to be constantly also remind myself, to be very honest, it is really not easy. It has to be very diligent and also constantly be very mindful, as what Master always reminds us. But what's most important is to be able to put in practice what I've learned and to apply it accordingly in my daily life when I encounter with people, object, and all matters. It's just like what Master mentioned in this particular episode. It's like a small tree. For it to grow to a big tree, it requires a lot of soil, water, and also fertilizer for the conditions to be right for it to actually grow. This also gave me insights when I was very young. As I was walking at the seaside, looking at the sea and also the ocean. As I walk gradually more and more, I can see that there is a change in terms of the color of the water, just like it is shown in this picture. As we go further, we can actually see that the colors of the shore actually changes. And that denotes how there was a sudden drop and also a change in terms of the depth at a certain point. As the sea gets deeper and deeper, gradually, at a certain point, there is a drop-off point where there is a change of depth, just like the cliff. So in Dharma, it's also the same. We'll soon realize that actually learning the Dharma is a gradual training. It's actually progression, stage by stage. But ultimately, as we reach a certain long stretch, at a certain point, there will be a moment whereby we realize that we will also experience the true realization and also the appreciation of the Dharma. I'm truly very blessed because as I learned more and more about the Dharma, it has actually improved. And I feel like I have gained a lot of strength, mindfulness, and also energy and concentration also in terms of my daily work. And as a result of learning the Dharma, I realized that I seem to react to challenging situations now with a clearer mind and also less afflictions. But it doesn't mean that I do not have afflictions at all. I still have, but I start to be aware of it, of the realizing it, of the rising and also the ceasing. On this part, specifically, I also tend to get very angry very fast. But by learning the Dharma, I tend to react with less anger. I also used to be very attached to a lot of things. And I see myself transforming and changing as I less detached right now. So the beauty of it, ultimately, I felt like it is so great that this Dharma has really actually benefited me a lot. And I was able to feel much light and also be at peace, which is actually one of the most important things. There are two important terms I actually always hear in the teaching, especially at the Wisdom at Dawn, when actually Master, every episode, Master will talk about Samadhi. Samadhi, as what Master mentioned, is actually a state of meditative contemplation, or Master put it as a calm contemplation. which leads to a higher consciousness of the mind. In the recent episode, Master spoke about Samadhi again, and she defined it as also the concentration and also being focused. And that regards as the moment to moment of the mindfulness. I always think to be in Samadhi, I need to actually isolate myself because I don't want to actually hear any noise, and I need to be on myself. I need to be very quiet. And that was taught of how to cultivate Samadhi, is to sit in meditation and isolate myself so that I will not be disturbed. But as I learned more and more from this episode, Master has taught that Samadhi has to be cultivated on a daily basis. And it can be cultivated, in fact, even while we're walking, standing, sitting, even when we're doing our work chores, or even when we're resting at home. Then the question comes, why is it that it's important for us to have Samadhi and the focus of concentration or the calm contemplation? And it was mentioned clearly in this episode that Samadhi is important for us to manifest the spiritual power of wisdom, because it is only when our mind is calm, peaceful, tranquil, that it is actually at the pure state. And at this state, the wisdom can actually arise. Then what actually prevents wisdom from arising? That's definitely because we have a lot of delusion and ignorance of the mind. Just like what is being shown in this particular slides, as I reflected every day, there's really a lot of things to be done. I'm just like a normal person, a practitioner. I still need to run my daily chores. I was always rushing to do things and getting things done, and easily get very distracted. And many often times I was unable to think very wisely and react based on my emotions and also feelings, not even taking into consideration that there are people around me. So it is very natural, as I reflected more and more, within the same day itself, I can see there's a lot of afflictions throughout the day, depending on the circumstances and also changes. And just sometimes in a split of seconds, my feelings were so abrupt. I can be very happy at one point when my boss praised me, but on the next moment, when I receive a bad news, then I will be extremely sad. So all these are actually affecting me a lot. But with contemplations and also what we regard as Samadhi, it is actually very essential because it really helps to keep track of the mind and to check the status of the mind. And most importantly, if we be able to actually practice Samadhi, we'll be able to confront our own actions. And most importantly, the intention behind in every single activities that encounters that we have. I would also like to highlight a little bit on the contemplation part, whereby why is it then it is important for us to have this contemplation and also Samadhi. The first one is enable us, as what Master mentioned, to gain a clearer perspective of things. It is very natural most of the time. I think our thoughts, it's very illusionary. Most of the time, I think our mind, it's very crowded with a lot of emotions. And to be honest, I will also realize that it is because of my own judgment. And all this judgment is because of my memories and also the experiences that I have in the past. And I carry it forward without having a proper thought and do not look at things in a clear perspective. In this instance also, sometimes I may lose sight of what truly is important to me, and I just follow what other people actually do. And worse still, sometimes things seems to be very big and worse than what they truly are. I reflected this during the Chinese New Year. As Chinese New Year has just passed, I think I used to buy a lot of things, beautify my house, make a lot of cookies, and also find a lot of enjoyment during the Chinese New Year. And that is what I normally do. But having learned the Dharma and also reflected it, I start to think about how can I actually do something different for this particular Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year, is it just only for my own enjoyment? Or am I just fulfilling my duty to just go back to my hometown and to be with my parents? But with more contemplation and reflections and thinking about it, then Chinese New Year this year, I've tried to make it a bit different. It is more about caring and really truly show the care for our family members and not just fulfilling the duties to just go home. Besides that, I also thought about, besides my own enjoyment, there are many unfortunate people out there who are also suffering. And how about the homeless? So instead of just being enjoy and be happy for myself during the Chinese New Year, we actually gathered a few of our friends together and we did some goodie bags. This was some pictures that's being shown that before the Chinese New Year, we already packed 150 bags of goodies that contained all kinds of daily utilities, plus also the mask and also food, dry food items, and also clothing to be given away. And the Chinese New Year on the first day itself, we went around the cities and we found some homeless people that is actually sleeping around in this particular area, which is actually behind the central market. So we took out all the goodie bags and give it away to all of them. I was very, very blessed that I was able to join these activities. And in fact, I truly feel like I have made this Chinese New Year something that's really different. And this is also truly through the contemplation and also reflection of seriously thinking of how can I actually better improve and also do things that is truly really matters to me. The next thing about contemplation is also being able to respond more effectively. On this particular sharing, I would like to say that many times I myself is also very affected by the outside world before learning the Dharma. I always react to situations. A lot of anxiety always comes just automatically without me able to control it. As I reflected, it is not just about doing work and assignment when I was working, but it's also when I was actually doing things even with Tzu. As I reflected, I joined these activities of distribution of funds to some of this, to the flood victims recently. And during the normal days, as in when they was not so crowded, I was able to handle the situation quite well. But there was actually an occasions whereby the crowd started coming in huge crowds. And after the briefing, they all came down. And we were told to distribute and disperse the fund as soon as possible. And that was where the chaos actually started. At that point of time, I see the arising of emotions. And I was very blessed because I was able to detect it and realized it. Then I asked myself back again, what is the purpose of me being there? Returning back to the purpose is because I want to actually comfort these people. I want them to feel that there is always loved. There are people around them that still concerned about them. So I took time. I didn't really be bothered about what's happening in terms of the circumstances out there and still able to perform my job or my task in a very calm manner and also be able to actually thank all the recipients and also be grateful for them and also talk to them despite the situation, which was actually quite chaotic in a certain way because there's many of them. And there was also a rush to get the disbursement done as soon as possible. But however, I felt very rejoiced after that because I do not allow the external conditions and circumstances to actually affect me. However, I managed to maintain the wholesome state of my mind and continue to actually do what I'm supposed to do in the right way. Another reflection is my personal reflection. Basically, I always feel like it is very easy to forgive someone that is actually on their wrongdoings, especially the outsiders. But this task gets very, very significantly difficult, especially for the people that is very, very close to me and my loved ones. Sometimes some small little incidents will cause me anger and also bitterness and resentment. And this feeling sometimes stays. And without learning the Dharma, I let it grow. And ultimately, as it rooted in my heart, it hinders me from the ability to be able to actually build good relationship with them. And at times, it reveals by itself by my own behavior and also my hostility towards them. And this actually destroyed my relationship with my family members. So basically, with contemplation and very much a lot of reflection on what is happening, I was able to actually let go and develop a lot of forgiveness and also kindness. And this enables me to build a lot of good relationship and affinities, not only with my family members, but also with a lot of people that is around me. I remember this particular insight of this washing machine that stays with me this was advised by a very wise teacher. He always told us that if you look at the washing machine, it spins, the clothes are all spinning inside. So do not allow yourself, do not allow your mind to be also in the washing machine and spin around with the clothes. This is how the mind actually works. We should look at it, the washing machine, from outside in order to guard our mind and to take charge so that it will not run wild. So in summary, contemplation is then definitely very, very important, because with contemplation, we can actually practice self-reflection. This is also the most recent episode that Master has reminded us again to actually look at the mirror as a perfect mirror. Self-reflections will also be able, with contemplation, will also be able to make us pause, especially in a chaotic situation. It also makes us to have a time to really ponder about what is actually happening within ourselves and in our mind. And most important is to break away from all the unwholesome and habitual tendency, and also to change ourselves in terms of our thoughts, action, and also speech. And that will really transform and benefit. For me, this is what I actually benefited from the cultivation of Samadhi. The next term that was frequently used is actually wisdom. I always think that wisdom is just an IQ. You were born with it. You may have the wisdom or you do not have it. In fact, what Master mentioned is wisdom can be cultivated. And the greatest blessing in life, in fact, is to be able to have the wisdom. Basically, in terms of wisdom, if we have the wisdom, it is very important because we'll be able to think right, we have the right view, right understanding, and also we'll be able to think rightly of what we need to do. However, wisdom is only from the insights of an empty mind. We should not have any desire or attachment to it, because it is only comes with much improved mind. As we're able to think right, have the right view and understanding, when we have the wisdom, it is not about having a mundane mind, which is an ordinary mind, that we see suffering as suffering. As I reflected this part of it, I realized there's many incidences which are actually very inspired by people who actually really have the wisdom. I visited an hospital previously and realized that one of my friends was actually hospitalized, despite of blaming everybody else and also the illness that he actually have. He actually he's so very grateful that he actually have that wisdom, that to thank everyone because that he has this illness, because it is from this illness that he learned how to eat more healthy. But however, without wisdom, as I can see, a lot of people that is sick, they will actually start complaining and blaming many other things. Like, for example, the medication is not right, the treatment is not right, the hospital is not right, the clinic is not right, and etc., etc. Having wisdom is also about able to make use of the wealth, health, beauty, and whatever success that we have in a very useful manner, not just for ourselves, but also for many others. From this, I truly witness a lot of city members already has the wisdom and done it with the clarity of the mind. They make use of all the wealth that they have, even the health and success in their businesses and etc., in creating more good for others, not just for themselves. That makes me realize that I'm truly very foolish previously, because I always ask for wisdom in terms of wealth, health, beauty, and everything else, without realizing that these are just external conditions and it may just fade away. The wise way of doing it is to make use of whatever that I have in terms of my wealth, health, and etc., for the benefit of others and not just for myself. The third thing about having wisdom is also truly be able to comprehend and understand, because when we have the wisdom, we'll be able to actually comprehend and truly understand what Master has taught us in terms of impermanence and also the law of karma. We'll be able to see the reality of living. In actual fact, when we reflected on aging, illness, death, separations from the people that we actually love, we were able to see that these things are something that we cannot avoid. There was an incident also when I actually came across a very young boy that actually the father passed away at a very young age. At that point of time, I thought, wow, how pitiful is this boy? But nevertheless, I was really inspired by him. In fact, during his father's funeral, he was so calm and tranquil, and he was able to have the wisdom to actually give a very good speech of what the dad has done in terms of good deeds, what the dad has taught him, and also make a promise that he will actually take care of the family. At that particular young age, I was thinking to myself, will I be able to actually stand in front and talk like him? And that is what wisdom meant to me. Similarly, for situations where I also realized that with wisdom, a lot of things that we hear, see, is actually illusionary. It may not be true. It is actually exist because of external factors and also the space. But however, it will fade away. So ultimately, what is more important is we need to hold on the values of our internal cultivation. And that is what truly matters. So with wisdom, ultimately, it helps a lot in terms for myself that I start to see things as not to hold a lot of grudges on what people say, think, and even whatever I hear from outside world. Because in order for me to actually progress, it's more important for me to actually do my own internal cultivation. It's also about, the other part about wisdom, it's also, I think I mentioned about the impermanence, understanding impermanence, and also the law of karma. I think the law of karma is also something that has been taught very frequently. As we know very sure that we are the owner of the karma, and we actually will bring the karma along with us and nothing else. So with a clear understanding of the law of karma, there's nothing else we can change, because whatever has passed, has passed. What is more important is actually the present. So we should value more of the present moment in terms of whatever speech, thoughts, and actions to ensure that it is all at a wholesome state. I like the analogy that was given to me before, which I heard before about karma. Whatever rice that we manage to eat that we have today is the seeds that we have planted in the past. But however, we need to always remember that we cannot keep the rice forever because it will go stale. What we need to do is to always plant the good seed so that we will have a good harvest in the future. Similarly for life, what we do today and at this particular moment, we can't change is most important. We can't change the past, and also not to cling on to whatever we have at the present moment. That is with wisdom, that is what karma is all about. Besides that, so ultimately, we know that we are unable to change the past. The important is focus at the present. So what we need to do is continue to cultivate the goodness in the present in order for us to shape a better future. So at the end of the day, I would like to say that in summary, wisdom, as what Master mentioned in this particular episode, is the radiant of infinite light. It is only with wisdom, but however, wisdom needs only arise if we can eradicate the ignorance of the mind so that we can ensure that our mind is not deluded and also crowded. And how do we go about doing it? Is we need to guard our mind at all state, at every single moment, so that we are always at tranquil and we are always at calm. It's only when our mind is at peace and only at a calm stage that our mind is bright. And at the same time, we were able to see the nature, because the contemplation will be able to allow us to see the dissatisfaction. Where is it actually coming from? And most importantly, with wisdom, we'll be able to actually renounce and abandon all the
听到吗？可以听到吗？听到吗？听到，不是因为我刚才有听那个佛教的，听到吗
？Sorry, can I just continue? Yeah.
Yes, please.
So basically,
please.
yeah, sorry. Yeah. So basically, just a summarize of wisdom. So wisdom is about, so with wisdom, our mind is bright. We'll be able to see the true nature and also renounce all the unwholesome. And ultimately, with wisdom, you will really enjoy and actually experience great joy. So for this Chinese New Year, I always has a lot of wish and blessings, but I only have one wish. I wish I can cherish the wisdom that I have. May I also realize the wisdom, and may I also have the wisdom to do all the right things. And to all brothers and sisters that is here with me now, and also all the Tzu Chi members, I truly wish all brothers and sisters have a very success in this Chinese New Year, filled with great joy, happiness, and abundance of wisdom. Thank you very much for the brothers and sisters for listening.
And so much, Sister Eng Hun, for your impressive sharing. I truly agree with you. The greatest blessing in a life is to have a wisdom. It's not wealth, right? Okay, now we invite Brother Joe to give the comment. Brother Joe?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to follow what Sister Eng Hong had just said, because I think she said everything that I think. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to comment. First, I think her voice and the entire way that she presented herself, it's very enjoyable in that it leads people to calmness. It leads people to contemplate. Okay, so the way that you talk, the way that you lead us to think is very soothing, and it's not slow, but it's in the right pace, so people can digest it in a bite-sized manner, rather than sometimes people speak very fast, and sometimes people speak too slowly, or sometimes people speak without any point. But I think you hit everything. You did at the right pace, and the voice itself is soothing, but not putting people to sleep, and it really triggers everybody's thought. So that is just the presentation itself. Now let's go to the content, which I was very impressed. I think for someone who, as Sister Riani said, that recently joined us, and being able to have such deep insight, I think you probably already, before joining, you probably already have these insights, or I don't want to say knowledge, but something like the wisdom was already there. And I think Master would say that Buddha would say that we have it in all of us, right? It's inherent. Some people just have it more obvious, or more exposed, or something that's already manifested. Okay, and I think your demeanor showed that you're very mature in your wisdom. I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about the way that you think, the way that you present yourself. And so everything is very clear. Okay, everything is very clear. I'm very impressed. And I would like to add to what you mentioned with my my thoughts. I think that you pick out two words, samadhi and wisdom. And I really like how you define, or how you help everybody to define or to understand that samadhi allows us to have clearer perspective. I think samadhi is a state where our observations, our senses can be used to direct it toward all aspects. But that's only half the story, right? To be able to see and feel is only half the story. Now, what do you do about it, right? You observe it, you realize you are now aware of the things that are happening around you or within you, your emotion, your arising thoughts. All these things are happening, right? Samadhi allows you to calm and to observe yourself with a third person perspective. But what do you do about it? You know you're getting angry, but you can't do anything to stop it unless you have wisdom, unless you know what you can do, unless you're trained to do, unless you train yourself to do the right things. And that takes wisdom. So it takes two parts. to realize something is happening, to be mindful of the things that's happening, to be aware, and then to have the wisdom to do the right interjection, so that you know that when you're angry, you can stop yourself from saying hurtful words. You can stop yourself from doing hurtful things, and you can correct yourself by saying the right words, the words of kindness and the words of love, forgiveness, etc. So I think that's how I see them. Now, one of the things that you mentioned at the end was law of karma. I think you mentioned that it teaches us to what's already happened in the past. It's nothing we can do about it, and that's very true. So we should focus on the present. Now, just recently, I have this another deeper, or not, I don't want to say deeper, but I want to say that I have another insight or feelings about what this means. I think what it means is that I think the story with Uda, Dharma Master Uda, was that, and this came on, I think, a couple of days ago. I think the morning Dharma talk, Master talked about Dharma Master Uda, where, it's almost like the door was shut, and so the dust cannot be blown in, and so you keep the door to the negative karma shut. But eventually, in that brief moment, the door was open, and so the karma, or the bad karma, came in, and so he had a bruise and all that story. But I would like to think about, so the idea was that what he did 10 lifetimes ago was still waiting outside, and eventually came in. But I would like to think that the 10 lifetimes where Dharma Master Uda was a cultivated monk definitely made a very important impact. Imagine what it would be if Dharma Master Uda, after he committed this act, and the ghost was following him, and after one lifetime, or immediately after, it sought after. So Master Uda at the time wouldn't have had the right wisdom, wouldn't have had the right preparation to deal with what's to come. So I think that we know that the karma is not going to go away. It's going to stay outside that door, waiting for you to open. Whenever the door slits open, it's going to come right in. But what's different about it is what you can do to yourself. You can prepare yourself so that when that one day, inevitably, it's going to come, right? One of these days, it's going to come. And maybe you are, unaware, maybe you are aware. However it is, this karma isn't going to go away. It will always be there. If you owe it, it's going to be there waiting for you. And one day, it's going to come in. But you will be different. You from before and the you from after will be different. You will know how to handle it. And that's what it means by focusing on the present. On the present, when this karma comes in, you will know to say the right words, to have the right state of mind, and to do the right deeds. You will not make the same mistakes again and foregoing further and further more karma. So what I would like to say is that it is indeed true. The law of karma tells you that what's done in the past is done in the past, and you can do anything. You cannot change it. So you can only focus on the present. That is true. But also focusing on the present is part of the training, so that whatever that was supposed to be to come, when it eventually comes to you, you do not duplicate. You do not create more negative karma by being unprepared, so that you would know by the time the seed blossoms into a big tree and it falls onto you, you actually have the strength and you are prepared to deal with it. And I think that's what Master is trying to get us to be prepared with all this Dharma, so that we are prepared that all the things that we've done in the past is eventually going to catch up to us. But by the time it catches up, hopefully we are ready to deal with it by seizing on the present. So we know that we're not blaming anything, we're not blaming anybody, but we're just handling it like we should with wisdom and samadhi. Okay, so that's just a little bit of extension from well, what you shared today. It is indeed true that we should seize the presence, but going a little bit deeper, the reason why we seize the presence is because, number one, we can't change the past. Number two, we don't want to create a bad future. And all of it is to end it here and now and to have peaceful or harmony. So thanks to Sister Ing Hong, it's very impressive. And the way that you carry yourself and all the content, I think it's, like I said, impressive. And I wish that we can hear more from you in the future. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your powerful comment, Brother Joe. I'm also very impressed.
Thank you, Brother Joe. I think, wow, that's really a great insight on the part of the karma. I think I never ever thought of that, but yeah, that's really enlightening. And yeah, thank you, Kan-en, for your teaching. Thank you. Yeah.
Kan-en. So we should hear more from Sister Ing Hun. In fact, I'm so grateful and so honored to be her mentor. Actually, I must learn from her, It's not the other way around. Okay, now our second sharer. She is no less impressive than Sister Ing Hun. This young man, Brother Benny, will share a very interesting story. I think let her start her sharing now. Okay, she picked the episode 1130, that we need to have few desires, be content, and eliminate our greed. Also, when we go among people, we must not become defiled. This is the most important method of practice for spiritual practitioners. Otherwise, we will have deviant understanding fields. Okay, Brother Benny, the platform is yours.
Hi, all brothers and sisters. Good evening. I'm truly grateful that to have this opportunity to share today for y'all. Before I share my story, let me have a short introduction of myself. And I'm Benny. You also can call me Yang Ping. And I'm 21. I'm turning 21 this year, and this is my 9th year in Chiji. Shao for 6 years, and Jing for 1.5 years, and then Jianxi 1 year, and also currently Peixin. Okay, now I would like to briefly share about my family. Home is a place for you to be who you are without any mask on. Okay, however, I used to have a very scary mom. I could say that I do not have the guts to talk to her for about 10 years. In my childhood memory, I remember that whatever they talk, whatever my siblings talk, we would never speak as a cliche saying that when the elderly are speaking. So the children must not speak. 大人说话，小孩子不能讲话. Let me give you an example. There's once I forgot to put our socks in the dirty basket. My mom forced me to smell the socks for 5 minutes because it's our responsibility. If we do anything wrong, they would just do like that. Even though I go to toilet or what, they will ask us to say sorry to the thing because you did the wrong thing to the thing. So you have to say sorry. Although you are my son, but I don't care, something like that. So as you can see the PPT, I would always stand beside my dad instead of mom because my mom is very, very scary to for me for in that 10 years. So after one affinity from my aunts, I started to join Shiji and my parents and also my siblings as well. Both of my parents are now certified commercial, and then my siblings are currently Tsa also. I used to have that thought that after joining Shiji, I will never make mistake in my life, and I will be perfect until the end. This is how I thought. However, we are still beings and mistake will still be made sometimes. And I'm truly to say I'm not Superman. Let me share a short story that last year what I did. Around last year, mid of August, I saw a message from Shopee at Facebook that completing simple tasks and I can receive back for 10% more like business lah for part-time. So it started from giving around 100 ringgit Malaysia, and they really return around 10%. So at first at start to believe them already. So but I didn't know that I really slowly stepping in the bottomless greed pit. They after that they said I can upgrade you to VIP group. And I asked, what is VIP group does do? So they told me that, oh, you can get more 30% because the first time is 10%, but the VIP group is more 20% more. So let's say if I give 3,000, maybe I can get back around 1,000 lah. So around 30%. So I immediately said, okay, I will join. Until they really give me a task that they want me to pay around 3,000 in order to get back the 1,000 ringgit in 30 minutes, right? I will need to pay first. So how can I get such a big amount? That time I totally I'm just a fresh grad student and I don't have any work. So I started to make lies lah. I told my friends, I told my cousins, I said, oh, my car broke already, my dog was sick, and all those kind of lies I said to fulfill what I want lah. So the greed is in my increase, and I don't even know what I was doing at the moment. It's just money. I was thinking about money. A friend of mine did told me to stop and say it might be a scam company. But however, all I see is only money. I ignore her at the first time. I seriously ignore her at the first time. And I really give them 3,000 from my friend that gave me around I settled around 2 hours after that. However, they told me this is a bad news. They told me it's time out. So you have to pay again because we only give you 50 minutes to complete the task. So I started to scare. I started to shaking and then all that. How do I complete? So I said, okay, what is the requirement for the payback for the time out lah? What should I do? He said need to do another task. So I think that I think it's around 1,000 ringgit. So I said, okay, can. I will just pay back 1,000. So he said, no, for the next task, you must pay for 8,000 in the order to get back the money previously around 4,000. So I started, I really don't know what to say. I starting to cry. In that moment, I realized I really stupid. Why I ignore my friend, and then this is really a scam. So I really in 1 or 2 hours, I really stay there for tears that day. As many of us know, men don't really cry to me like me, but knowing the stupidity for me lah, I really cried and I will feel guilty, and the money was all gone. It's all my friends and also my cousin. So I was really glad that I'm still in Ciji. And Chisao Papa console me, telling me that it's okay to make mistake because these 9 years I really don't make any mistake because even though in high school I was very guai. I can say that in Chisao Papa Mama. So doesn't mean you are in Ciji, you will be absolutely perfect. We are all have flaws. That is why we are here in Ciji to make a changes. That a friend of mine that tried to stop me told for afterwards that we should always never go for shortcuts. there are no free lunch, 没有白吃的午餐，没有免费的午餐 in this world. We should always be mindful with our greedy mind, and most importantly, to be responsible for our act. I'm lastly grateful that my parents actually taught me well for responsibility. In order to not to owe my friend of my money, my parents helped me to return the money to my friends and also my cousin. However, I'm currently working as a customer service currently, and to pay back my parents around 5,000 in this half year, as this incident was caused by me. So what I learned in customer service in this industry, I really learned about how to be keep calm, and how to be help people to settling things down. To know more why money is not easy to make, and then it's not easy. My parents is not easy, and to learn more. So in the first few months, I really cry also, because I don't know why, because I'm scared that there's not enough money for myself, but my my current work, customer service, is very very hard to survive, because I'll always get scolded by customer. So but I realized one thing. I really learned how to be more mature enough to be the elder son in my family. As I'm 21, I'm really grateful that even my boss also teach me a lot, and said, even though you have this case, don't take it in hardly, but you have to learn more, keep learning and all that. So I hope that in future, if you are a parent, or even a soon to be a parent, we must always teach our kids to have the responsibility and never believe in shortcuts. If you are still a child, I can advise that do remember to take on the responsibility that you caused by yourself. Don't ask people to help you out, and you just walk away. Lastly, I'm really grateful I'm in Tzu Chi, and that I have Sigong Sangren, Master Chen Yan guiding me, and also Sigu Sibo, brother and sisters. So this is my story. Thank you for all brothers and sisters for listening today, my story. Thank you so much.感恩.
And so much, Brother Benny, for your interesting story. I believe from this episode of incidents already grow your wisdom life. Okay, now let's invite Brother Joe to give comment.
Wow, okay. First of all, Benny, 21 years old. I wonder how long ago that was for me. Oh, 21 years ago. I'm about twice your age. And I wish I could be as wise as you are when I was your age. So please don't feel that no need to apologize for crying, or no need to apologize to make mistakes. And in fact, I don't think you made a mistake. I think of it as a transaction. Think of it as you are paying the tuition to which now you rightfully graduated. There is a worse case, far worse than what you have experienced, is you pay the tuition and you learn nothing, right? So at least you pay the tuition and you learn something very valuable. And not only that, but you gain more. Nothing has changed around you, but you gain the appreciation of all the people around you. They all told you it's the wrong thing. And they all told you that it's a scam. And you didn't believe it. Now, because of you pay the tuition and you learn the lesson, you also change your perspective on your parents. You also change your perspective on the people that warned you. you show your appreciation. So you got back more than what you paid for. Now, that's a bargain, right? Usually you pay tuition for the lessons that you get. You not only learn the lesson, but you gain the appreciation of all the people around you. You gain the appreciation of the brothers and sisters that are around you to be with you. They haven't done anything, right? They didn't do anything, but you appreciate them. Before, you probably just know, hey, they're always around. They've been here, they're here, and I'm Tzu. But now you look at them and you go like, well, I'm so happy. I'm grateful that I'm in Tzu. That's something perhaps before you didn't think about, right? Just like you open your presentation with, I have a scary mom. I think we all did. We all did. There was one time that we all think that our moms are scary, but now you don't think that way. And that's what the class got you. So like I said, you pay the tuition, you got the lesson, and you got more than what the lesson taught you. You gained the appreciation of all the people around you. You matured through all these things. So not only did you learn the lesson of what you should do about desire, about greed, about maybe not trying to take shortcuts. That's all the lessons that you got and more. So let me tell you, my brother, you got a bargain. So no need to feel, apologetic about, spending all that money. You just imagine that you spend a big chunk of money going to a very high class school. That is why the tuition is so expensive, that the work is hard to pay it off, but it's worth it. You got your lesson and you change your perspective of the people around you and of the things that's around you. I think that's the best of both worlds. Now, there was a story once told by Master Cheng Yen. Okay, so similarly, there was a lady, a sister, who was also scammed. Okay, well, it's not kind of scam, but it was more like, you participated in a particular financial tool. I don't want to call it scam, but it's just at the time, it was a common practice and people do this. Now, originally the money also claimed by the sister that was going to be donated to Master for the hospital. But she also thought that, hey, if I do this, I can make double that money and I can donate more, right? So she thought that way. So she put her money through this process. And of course, as the story turns out, it all goes away. Okay, so she came to Master crying. Okay, maybe not like you did, Benny, but it was to Master and explained that money was supposed to be donated to Master. And so Master asked, well, if that money is supposed to be donated to me, shouldn't I be the one crying? Because I'm the one not getting anything right now. Shouldn't I be the one crying? And so the sister paused for a second, thinking, well, Master is right. This money was supposed to be for you. And now that you're not getting anything, it's your loss. It's not so much my loss, right? Because I'm not supposed to have it anymore, right? I'm supposed to be giving it away. So the Master said, well, if that makes you feel better, consider it already given to me. Consider that you donated. So the sister began to smile because now in her mind, the money that originally wasn't going to be mine because I'm supposed to donate it, right? Now it's gone anyway. And even though I didn't give the money to Master, the Master said, I got the money and it was given by you. So the sister began to be happy and said, okay, well, thank you, Master. Well, all the things was already done. So what I'm trying to say is that it's all plus and minus. It's all ups and downs. It just depends on how you view it. And to Master, whether she gets that money or she didn't get the money, it matters not. Because what's important is, what do I do? How do I guide each person or each thought so that because it's not just about that 5,000. It's not just about that 8,000. It's not just about that 4,000. If I can safeguard that thought, the idea where you want to do something good, you wanted to help people, I can safeguard it. Maybe this lesson will help you lessen your greed and desire, but will keep the pure part, which is that the desire to help others. Then I would do everything I can to hold on to that part, to keep you joyous, to keep you, to let you know that, yes, indeed, helping people is the very right thing to do. But we need to lessen on the part of the greed and desire, even though you want to help more people. But that's not like, that's what Benny said, taking shortcuts. Okay, so something like this, it's just a turning of the thought, right? A turning of how you see it, right? And I think that works wondrous. Okay, so that's why I begin by saying that this is a transaction. You pay for your lesson and you got more than what you pay for. So this is a bargain for you. It's a good deal. Now, keep it a good deal by sharing to more people, by practicing it, and by making sure that other people also practice it. Then let me tell you, that is called 1 to infinity. Then all those money that you're thinking about, the 4,000, or I think it was 4,000 you mentioned, right? 4,000 that was already gone. It will do amazing deeds. If you're able to share this and let more people know it, then let me tell you, Benny, it's the best deal. It's the deal of the century. If you can share with more people and inspire them to let them know that, hey, you know, what I learned out of this is this, and I share now this with you, everybody see it, then this is a very, very, you're doing public service by putting that 4,000 to the best use possible. So that is a very good thing. So Brother Benny, think of it as you donated to the common greater cause to make people more wise. If you think of it that way, it's money well spent. Okay, so good job. And I hope you don't feel too bad about being scolded by your customers. Think of it as they have no one else to scold but you. Think of it as that you're the only one in the world where they could feel that they are free to have their emotion. You are whom they depend on. Because if it wasn't for you, they will probably be screaming to their husband, their children, and there will be a far worse case than if they were to scream to you, which you, in your very best manner, you explain to them, you still be grateful to them, and it will be almost like the perfect training ground to practice not just samadhi, but forbearance. Think of it as they pay you to learn your lesson. Now, this is even a better deal than the one that you just gone through, paying 4,000. They pay you to learn. So isn't that a good deal? You know, they're cultivating a good man out of you by paying you to learn all these very good 6 paramitas. I think that's a good deal. You're getting the best deal out of life. And thank you for being part of Tzu Chi. And then we need more young people like you. So bright, you know, your smile is full of life and bright, and that's what we need in this society. Okay, thank you, Brother Benny. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kanan.
So much for your fantastic comment, Brother Joe. I believe all of us here learn a lot from our 2 sharers and from Brother Joe Huang especially. I'm very blessed tonight. I can become a facilitator for this session. Okay, now over to you, Sister Xu Qing.
Wow, amazing, powerful sharing. Now I remind myself the next time I get a call from a customer service, please be more gentle. The person may be someone like Brother Benny. And Brother Benny, you are same age as my eldest son. Wow, if my son is as wise as you, I shouldn't have that expectation, because when I was 21, I could remember I was still so blurred and ignorant. Brother Benny, we are so proud of you. If I'm your parent, I will be most proud of you. Wow, today very powerful sharing. And indeed, the 4,000, I come to think of it, definitely the amount is it's worth more than that, because Brother Benny, by your sharing today, not only you have benefited those that are listening live, but this is recorded and we will share it with more people. So there are so many people listening. So you will have saved many from being cheated or con in future. So this 4,000 is definitely very much worth it. Not only for youngster like you, even for people like us or some elderly, they often heard of stories, people still being conned. So well, and Sister Eng Hun, wow, Sister Eng Hun, she's joined us daily. Truly, she doesn't even look like a person who just newly joined Tzu Chi. We always look forward to her daily summary, the insights from her daily listening to Master's sharing. I recall Sister Eng Hun, during this flood cleaning, Sister Eng Hun once called me and she asked if there's a chance that she could join one of the flood distribution. And one center was, they also informed me earlier that they need experienced volunteer. So I quickly recommended Sister Eng Hun, and they asked, is this a very an experienced volunteer? I said, no worry, even though she's not yet patient or commissioner, she's not less lacking than the commissioner. Indeed, after that, I received so much good compliments on Sister Eng Hun, and so happy to see that Sister Eng Hun has so much rejoicing, and she benefited most of all of us with her sharing during her serving that day. Indeed, 真的是, wow, we are very powerful volunteers that we have today at the sharings. And of course,感恩 our brother, Sister Riani, for connecting all these dots. Sister Riani, we know she's one of our most respected volunteers, because she leads us in these refugees, these sections, refugee home visits and refugee helps. And Brother Joe, yeah, we can never get enough from Brother Joe. It's always a lot of great insights and awakening, and this Wu Da Po Si, wow, from a very good perspective. I never thought of that. Truly, these are 10 lifetime to strengthen, using it to strengthen his wisdom life. So we have to be grateful that today we are Tzu Chi, when we face the challenges, we are grateful because we are being trained by masters, and of course listening to all these Brother Joe's great sharings and our Hualien masters sharing. Okay, Ka'an brothers and sisters for joining us today. Those who join live, definitely, I am sure like me, I really feel so much rejoicing. Time is not enough. Okay, but not to be afraid. Tomorrow we still have a great session with Master De Huang as well as Sister Sihu, who will share her insights from the translations from 7 o'clock Masters, the Wisdom at Dawn's, 7 o'clock morning volunteer stocks. Thank you everyone for listening and for joining. Thank you for your presence. Hope that each of us could sustain this Dharma joy and take in another piece of Dharma Master and Hualien love to our life. Okay, let us invite Brother Joe to lead us in making 3 bows to the Buddha and Master Cheng Yen as we depart to apply all these wonderful teachings in our everyday life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life, universal truth. Palms together. First bow. Second bow. And third bow. Kind brothers and sisters, Happy New Year. We are still in New Year. Okay, see everyone tomorrow. I'm not sure if Sister Effie or Sister Lily, if you want to take a group picture, maybe we take one, memorable. Today we have a very special combination. Yeah, look at Brother Benny. Suddenly feels like there's so much hope in our society. Sister YY. Can brothers and sisters turn on your video? It's okay if we are not in uniform. We are okay. We understand. Don't worry. Let's take a nice New Year pictures. It's a gathering. Okay. Cảm ơn everyone. See everyone. Sister YY. Okay. Okay. Cảm ơn. Take care everyone. Stay safe.祝福 everyone. Thank you, Brother
Okay.
Joe.
Good night. Good night. Bye bye.
Good night. Good night. Thanks.